A year. A year of suffering, torment, pain. But all the while it's been a year of success. Jack stepped down, appointed me of all people as his successor. Run against Philip for the position. He's always been an interesting person, Philip Andrews. I've appointed him as head of security in the society, so he won't feel as bad. Feeling is the only reason I'm like this. The reason I've been so torn. The reason that my voice has turned into the shredded sound that it is. The reason that my mind is so filled constantly with ideas of savagery and bloodshed. I just want it to go away! And how fitting is it that just 2 days ago I found the article. Christopher Walker buys out all stocks, sends thousands into bankruptcy. It was his father who caused my life to be the way it's been. It was his father who caused me to live on the street with nothing to my name, with nothing to salvage, certainly not to be cared for. And he didn't give a damn. He thought so little that if he offed himself, it would all just wash away. Like nothing ever happened, like the consequences of that decision would never come back to haunt him. No, they won't come back to haunt him, but they will affect the last piece of his living legacy. I will take my rightful place in this society.
It was nice to finally meet and talk with you, Theodore. But do you know anything about her, though? Where she might be? Or I can contact her.
Likewise, Jack. And unfortunately, I have no idea where Sarah might be. Given the circumstances, though, I don't think you'd even want to meet her. She's quite possibly one of the most ruthless individuals I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. And she's our sister. Just the ability to say that about family should give you, of all people, blood red flags.
Shouldn't we at least try, though? She's our sibling, Theodore. She's not a ruthless and cutthroat killer. She's a confused, emotionally stunted girl who never got the love and attention she deserved from our father. He cast her out on the street the moment he saw defiance within her.
That's exactly why we shouldn't try. The family name is a stain on her mind, a black piece of her history she wants to expel from all tangible memory. If she sees any of us, she won't hesitate to eliminate us. I saw the results of that fury firsthand, and if I'm not mistaken, your eye did too. This line of thought isn't going to lead anywhere positive, Jack.
Yes, but she's our sister, so I won't allow her shortcomings to cloud my judgment. She's family, and family means unconditional love. It always has for us. She took my eye because of her anger, her confusion. Neither of us know what it's like to be her, so who are we to judge? And she let me live, didn't she?
We're her family. We're the only ones who are allowed to judge. But we shouldn't interfere with her life. It's not our place to do that.
But you just said it. We're her family. That means it is our place. It's our responsibility to bring her back to the light, to some sense of normalcy. Please, Theodore.
Brother, I am begging you, don't pursue this. It'll lead you to a dead end. Just as it did, unfortunately for me, so many years ago.
Come in. I'll talk with you again soon, when I can, my brother.
Yeah, I'm counting on it.
Hey, I got the results back. You did? Oh. Is it good news? Unfortunately, no, it's not. And you're sure? I'm sorry, Jack. But while Evan saved you from the short-term effects during the encounter with Bruce and placed him on himself, you took them on more long-term. Those effects have taken the form of that irremovable tumor. It's taken up residence inside your brain. And you're running out of time, I suppose. If anyone else told me what you have, I'd tell them to go to hell in disbelief. Well, that's only because of how much we've been through together. How many times would you be dead if I hadn't intervened? 10 times? 11? 9. 9 times. The business with the train, that doesn't count. All right, champ, 9. Just remember, though, that doesn't mean you can risk your life multiple times over just because you're dying. Remember that you still have other people. People that care about you. Don't think anyone would necessarily miss me. Not with the legacy I'm to leave behind. Jack, look at all the things you've done. You've built this company from the ground up and benefited the lives of thousands. And ended the lives of 10,000 more. We're a weapons manufacturer, nothing but. We end lives. We don't help them. Jack, what you've created doesn't cement your legacy. It's what you leave behind that matters. And I suppose I'll start to build what I want to leave behind. I won't live in the shadows of my own regrets any longer.
Thank you for meeting with me tonight, David. I know that our relationship has been rocky at best, considering what happened between you and Jack a few years ago. But I figured, seeing as you two are rekindling that friendship, that I too would attempt to build something as well. After all, Jack is my partner, and I would do anything to make him happy.
That's honestly good to hear. I knew you were a good person, Evan. I just didn't really know how to approach you, especially since the incident a year ago. I didn't know if the effects that were placed onto you amplified any disdain you would have had for me, if that makes sense. I'm glad they didn't, though. I can see that you're a good man, and I'm happy that you and Jack are as close as you are. I don't ever want to get into the middle of you two. You seem happy.
We're closer than you might think. So, I never asked you. How did you and Jack meet by chance? Do you remember?
You know, we were just kids back then. It's amazing how vividly I remember back then. You know, given it was over 20 years ago. God, everything seems so simple back then. His father had just passed away before I met him.
Ah, yes, the great Christopher Walker.
Did you know him by chance?
No.
I just said his father passed away before I met him. You know, the way Jack talks about him, I don't think I'd like to. During the point in his life that Jack knew him, I heard Christopher Walker was nothing more than a confused, bumbling, drunken fool. Hardly a father figure, if you ask me.
Interesting. You know, I found a newspaper article from a few months before Christopher passed. Something that really caught my eye. Would you like to see?
I mean, these days, not particular.
Go ahead. Read the headline.
Jeez, okay. He bought out your father's stocks.
You know, I wasn't even born yet. How could I have known, you know? How could I be angry at something that happened before my time? How could I be angry at something that destroyed my family's existence? How could I be angry at the father of someone who I've grown to love? How could I be angry at someone who cared so little that if he fucking killed himself, all those problems would be stripped away with no consequences in the future?
Evan, what are you doing? What is this about?
Christopher Walker ruined my life! He sent my mother and father into the street with nothing to their names, leaving me to rot alone and struggling without money, without a home for fucking decades. And he thought that everything would be just fine, that the repercussions of that decision wouldn't come back to haunt him. And he was right. They won't come back to haunt him. 1 year ago, today, David Deidrad, you made a choice. And 1 year later, I will now force you to make another.
The fuck is this? What do you want?
Jack is your best friend, right? Since childhood, you've been at his side. I have an armed, hired assassin pointing his rifle right at Walker's head from the outside of this facility, and without his knowledge. If I say the word and the rifle is fired, I say the word and I get my sweet, sweet revenge by destroying the last living piece of the Walker legacy.
Sick. This is fucking sick.
You can watch as a bullet flies into his brain, or you, David Deidrad, can trade your life for his.
What? Why? What's the point in killing me?
Isolation! I am part of one of the most powerful families this city ever had to offer until Christopher Walker got in the way, dismembering the very body of that legacy. I have the potential to destroy that legacy now with brutal efficiency. Or I get to watch as the pieces of that legacy slowly fall, crumbling ever faster as I tear apart everything that man cares about, as his father did to mine oh so long ago. Then I won't give you that sweet fucking satisfaction.
Prepare to fire on my order.
Evan, don't you dare!
3.
Think about what you're doing! 2!
Evan, stop!
1!
Kill me instead!
Retreat. Call off the mission. It's done. Now, David, I'm so very glad you decided to come to this agreement. If you will follow me,
Why the fuck would I follow you after everything you've just done? Why wouldn't I call the police?
Because, Mr. Deirdre, if you do not, I will tell my assassin to return to his post and shoot Walker dead. Listen here, you bastard. I will find some way, somehow, to stop you no matter what. Even if I have to do it from beyond the fucking grave. I will find a way. Your mistake.
Ah! What the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm sorry, Mr. Deirdre, but you won't be finding that way out anytime soon. In fact, you'll be utilized through much more prevalent ways in this establishment. You released your responsibilities when you left the company 4 years ago. Allow me now to give them back to you, in albeit a very different way than last time.
You bastard! Why? Why do this? Because your life didn't end in some fairy tale way?
Because Christopher Walker made sure it didn't! He deserves to watch as his family rots and burns with nothing to salvage it. I will make it my mission to destroy everything he's fashioned into reality and wipe that slate clean, replacing it with a new face. My face!
You're a fucking psychopath. You're insane!
Oh, Mr. Deirdre, I'm not a psychopath. I'm not a monster. I'm a visionary. Someone who has looked at the world and seen the dark and dampened state that it's in. I'm choosing to fix it and morph it into my vision. I'll start with raising this company higher than it's ever been. I'll start with making a new order for this place. You're still so blind to what's in front of you. Security, my office, now. Take Deirdre to the pods. It's time for the binding to begin.
The binding? The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Oh, David. The time of the evening star is done. That flame is burning out, and with it comes a freezing winter. And I say, bring on the